Well, let's do the invocation first, if you would, please bow your heads. Our Heavenly Father, we want to thank you for bringing us all here together in good health, and we ask that you provide us all with a spirit of thanksgiving, a spirit of gratefulness, a spirit of working togetherness. And Lord, we also want you to fill us with wisdom and give us a sense of renewal, to renew our strength and renew our faith in you. Lord, we ask these things in your Son's name. Amen.
Amen.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Honor the Texas flag. I pledge allegiance to thee, Texas, one state, under God, one and indivisible.
Okay, any comments from the public? No. Consider an act on a request for adjustments to or relief from specific charges imposed by the district. No. So we have the consent items 5 through 8. Anybody want to pull any of those out?
The 26th board meeting notes. Turn to page 3, please. Item 15. Director Letterman did not make a motion to, did make a motion to not approve the Cox and Company revisions. However, had a long meeting with Jennifer and John, and Jennifer wrote a very complete and detailed analysis and statement of what they were doing, satisfied all my needs. I sent out an email to the board dated January 26th, indicating that everything was fine, and gave the reference for depletion on Texas water rights. And as I said to Jennifer a few minutes ago, I'm fine with everything that's in the report right now.
Okay. So that'll be item 9.
It's item 9 for us, correct.
So how about 5 through 8? Any other else? Have a motion to pass the consent agenda?
I'll
Okay.
make that motion.
I second. Okay. All in favor, say aye. Okay, so 9, review and consider approval of the district's fiscal 24-25 draft audit report.
I would like to bring up the questions that I brought up the last time. And so
We have a rep here.
I think Mr. Cohen was
I handed
a
them out.
reference. Are you Mr. Cohen?
Yes.
Oh, nice to meet you, Joseph Figueroa. I had asked, I'll just repeat the question for the benefit of those who were not here the last time. And I will make reference to beginning, page 26 at the top. There's a breakdown of the cumulative interest or expected interest over the next 4 or so years. 3,440,000 and change, which constitutes approximately 8.7% of the total. And on a few pages later, I think it's page 29, there's the SGRA component, and projected interest payments are the MUD 46's portion of it, to the tune of 423,000 out of a total amount of 2.9 if we round up, and that would constitute approximately 14.7% of the total amount in interest payments. And the question that I had the last time was, when you compare 8.7% compared to 14.7%, it's 60+% difference. So I was wondering if I could have visibility into.
Sure.
It's a twofold question.
Yeah.
One of them was the discrepancy, and the other one, is it normal to be paying almost like 10% in interest over time? Because it seems like huge.
The discrepancy is the timeline. So, one is 26 to 33 and one is 26 to 30.
Okay.
So when you think of it in 26 So on page 29, in 2026, you're paying interest for all of that principal through 2033. And so every year that you move forward, you're paying off some principal. So it's interest roll up is the difference. That's what's causing the difference.
Okay.
The other side of it, to explain how it's structured, we do what's called level debt. That's typically how we structure it. And so what that means is you have higher interest payments on the front end, lower principal, and it balances out in the end, because what we're looking for is on an annual basis, you want that overall payment to be flat or descending. And that way it allows you to manage your overall tax rate. Otherwise, your tax rate would do this every year. And so that's the discrepancy. So, and I put together just a quick, it's when Brian asked me, so I just took those numbers
Thank you.
and gave you an indication of percentage.
Mhm.
So if you look with, 5 years remaining, you're at about 16% interest to principal.
Mhm.
And so if you dropped it down here, you're at 13. So it's close. The delta would just be the interest rate component,
Mhm.
but it aligns.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay,
Does that-
thank you.
Does that answer
It
the
explains it.
question? And
It's the difference between simple interest and the kind of interest we have on those notes, correct?
yeah, I mean, it's the interest roll up
Yeah.
is what we call it. just
Okay.
Because you have more principal outstanding for the longer, and as you pay it down.
Sure. Like a mortgage, rule of 72.
Correct.
Yeah.
Correct.
Yes. Okay, thank you very much.
So,
I
again,
wanted, not
go ahead.
finished, I just wanted to get something on the record for the benefit of our constituents, because this is information that I think will be helpful. And I just want to state on the record what my position is that our residents are paying on the order of, over a number of years, more than 10% in interest payments on the loans that ultimately are going to the unknown outsiders at this point. And I'd just like to bring attention to the possibility in the future. This is basically an idea not to be discussed here at this point, but just to get the idea out there in public, that we consider alternatives where instead of having the interest payments go to unknown outsiders, and when outsiders, I define that as potentially outside of even our community, our community, the Woodlands, or the community of Montgomery County, or the community of Texas, is that we consider sources of funding that are inside, where the creditors, if you will, are inside of the community, so that you can keep those dollars flowing inside of the community, as opposed to potentially flowing even outside of Texas.
And I just want to point out, just to clarify, it's not, the district's not paying 10%. That is, if you're looking at it as a percentage of outstanding principal, it may be over that, but net interest costs, so the all-in cost, I would say, and I have your outstanding debt here, but I can pull your sales, and you're probably in the 4.5% range. So it's just a function of the way we structure the bonds so that you ultimately have the level debt.
Yes, it's just that our auditor is telling us that the projected interest amounts on page 26 and 29 are amounts 8.7%
Right.
in the case of the loans that are issued, general obligation loans issued by the MUD, and 14.7% for revenue bonds issued by the SGRA and pro rata applied to us. So that's the projected amount that was generating the interest. So, but I appreciate the clarification that it seems like you're saying that if you look retrospectively, the empirical amount of interest relative to the principal has been closer to 4%.
Yeah, the coupons
Okay.
are, and yeah.
Okay, thank you very much.
No, so in 2030, you're gonna get this, in July, August, you'll give us another bond statement, right? And we're gonna pay off these bonds in 2030. But when we make the last payment, there's a funding account, right? Do you know, top of your head, how many months will be left when we pay?
So typically, the way it works for districts as
Today.
as you're ultimately paying off your debt. The year prior will under levy your debt service tax rate. And that way you will make an operating fund transfer just for the amount. So you're zeroing out the account. You don't want
Zeroing
any
out.
dollars remaining in the account.
We get it back quickly is what I'm.
Correct.
Yeah.
Yeah, and at that point, as a board, you'll have to decide, do you want to shift those pennies to maintenance and operations or just have it fall off your overall tax rate?
We would need not now, 2030, different explanation.
Yeah, we'll
What
start
detail?
talking about it probably in 2028.
Yeah.
So it gives you a little bit of runway to decide on how you want to manage it. If you want to start moving pennies over with Senate Bill 2, it highly restricts you as a developed out district with what you're able to do. So this, towards the end of your life cycle of your debt, gives us the ability to start shifting pennies over if you would like to do that to your maintenance and operations side and not technically increase your tax rate. You're just moving the pennies over the last several years so that you don't run into a Senate Bill 2 issue and you're forced to decrease your tax rate if there are upcoming costs that you need to account for.
And if for some reason we would sell more debt within the period to 2030, that all goes in the same pot and it relevels that graph, right?
Well,
How does that?
I don't know that 46 even has geo authorization
I think we
left.
still
So
do.
If you did,
Yeah, we have some excess capacity left, I believe.
In the teens.
6, yeah, 9 million.
Yeah, that's what I thought.
It's borderline on being stale. It's 2009. Yeah.
So when you say stale, what does that mean? It has a life.
Reauthorizing.
It's a great question. It's a very vague concept from the Attorney General's office that they have applied, not consistently, frankly, to older bond authorization. And will deem authorization that hasn't been utilized in a while, and it's bonds that were authorized after a certain point in 2001, which is when these bonds were authorized, your last new money bond. So we'd have to deal with that when the time came, because your last new money bond issue, it looks like, was 2009. So, the AG's been vague about, is it 10 years? How long is the time period? And we've worked through that on other bond issues, but just putting that out there, it's a possibility. May not be able to utilize the geo debt, in which case we'd be in the same position as the River Authority is, of having to go and issue revenue bonds unless the board decided to call an election to try to get more general, when I call it general authorization, general obligation bond approval for property tax bonds. But that's another issue for another day. But right now, yeah, we're on track to pay it off. And to Adam's point, that is I've been through this, as Adam has, a number of times with other districts, and it's really a one-time opportunity that a district has in this Senate Bill 2 environment to be able to essentially move those pennies over from debt service to your maintenance side without triggering the rollback election, and give you the ability to generate some additional reserves going forward. And you only get that chance once. And so if you're overly aggressive, I've seen boards do it a number of different ways, but if you're overly aggressive on the reduction, you lose that opportunity, and then a couple of years later something happens and you need additional revenue and you're stuck. So but we'll talk about that probably in 2 years. We'll probably talk about that a lot more.
and just to go back, David, to your question, if you were to sell debt, in the next, call it 2 or 3 years, we would structure it, we call it wrapping. We would wrap it around your existing debt. So you would essentially push that debt out further, not longer than you would normally. Typical MUD bonds are around 25-year structures. And so what we would do is would wrap around your existing debt so that it limits your impact to your debt service tax rate on the front end, trying to balance things out.
What are bonds allow for that?
Will they allow for that? Yes.
The bond-
Yeah.
Yeah, okay, the wrapping is, okay. And how would you calculate the interest rate then?
We keep track. Since 2008, we have record of all competitive sales. So
Okay.
We just look at current market conditions.
One thing that I think is worth bringing up, when Joseph first joined the board, we got into a discussion about finance charges, and he did some excellent work in identifying new sources of bond offering or organizations that would buy our bonds. And I explained to him that we are limited in some ways to who we can issue bonds to. Is that correct?
You're required to competitively bid the
Right.
GO debt.
Right, but I think he did some valuable work, and one of the things that, I said to him at the time, we're going back, what, 2 years, year and a half, something like that, but he did great work. I said, my priorities were, first, the engineering review that has taken place, then confirming that MUD 46 was a developed district, which took some time, and we did that. Then the SFDUE pricing, which was important, and then supplemental agreements and contracts, which I still have issues with. And at that point, financing comes in. But since we're going to probably have a new board this coming year, I think it's important to move financing up, because we're going to be looking to fund $183 million over the next few years. And I think it's kind of important that we take a look at what Joseph offered and get additional resources to help him identify keeping the funds within the community, because I agree with him. We should keep it within the community if humanly possible. So I'll leave it to you and
Yeah.
future directors.
Just to add a little bit more color commentary, thank you very much, Fred. The State Bank of North Dakota is a state chartered bank that has some ways where they issue credit ex nihilo for under certain criteria to the state, the people who live in the state. And so it's just planting a seed that this would require perhaps state law changes, but it would allow for the state of Texas to issue the debt and keep the dollars within Texas, the interest payments on the debt. Once the new debt is created, as some of you may know.
There are some programs, like the Texas Water Development Board does have some financing options. It's
Yes.
highly restrictive.
Right. I'm referring to the ability that banks, the commercial banks have today when they initially have a loan that is categorized as an account payable on the liability side, and that it gets recast into a quote customer deposit for the lender. So it's the state, the bank's ability to create the credit ex nihilo that the State Bank of North Dakota has, for example, and Texas could have something like that.
I'm probably gonna jump in here, so we probably ought to add this as an agenda. I don't think we bear quite a ways from the audit, but I think if we want to discuss this, we'll probably have an agenda item and then allow you and Adam to visit offline in advance. So,
Thank you.
Okay, so,
need a motion on the audit.
okay, have a motion to accept the audit.
Motion to accept the audit?
I'll second.
Second, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Okay, receive regular monthly SRA Woodlands Division report. Okay. You're up.
It's me this evening. It's early evening. Directors, thanks for having me. I'm going to report on the Woodlands Division January monthly operating report and give you some highlights on our report to y'all. As typical, we had no violations or issues in the month of January. We also had Winter Storm Fern visit us in January. We had round-the-clock staff on site monitoring all our critical equipment and facilities, and we had no issues during the storm, so that was great news. One item to note, which was a little bit interesting, is that water production for January this year was the highest recorded January over the last 10 years. In the upcoming months, SJR will be presenting the 10-year project plan to all the MUDs, and that will be in May. And we're planning on doing the Woodlands Division budget to y'all in June. In your packet, you also received a memo regarding the 2025 excess funds. We did visit with the trustees last week. They voted on returning those excess funds to each of the MUDs. So we will wait to that February 28th deadline to make sure we meet that 90% criteria. We will take that trustee recommendation to the SJR board in March. And then hopefully in April or May, you'll receive those refund checks to each of the months. In your board pack, you also have a Lake Monroe Bear Branch report. You have the GRP report, and we'd be happy to entertain any questions. Any of y'all like?
What page was the GRP report on?
So quick, so supplemental agreement, so we're gonna get a 10-year plan in May,
Yes, sir.
and then the supplemental agreement
We
will
hope
be
to have it
discussed.
to Eric before the March meeting.
I mean, I'm just curious that this 10-year plan, we haven't seen that yet. And to basically try to address the supplemental agreement before we see the 10-year water plan. What's that gonna?
Well, if you recall, the only thing that we were pursuing in this initial 10 years was tier 1 and tier 2 projects.
Yeah.
That's it.
I understand. I understand that, but I guess I'm looking for a cost. We haven't seen a cost yet.
Yeah, well, I have the preliminary cost for the first few tranches. Project 1, construction, project 2, engineering is the first one. And then it'd be construction 2, design of 3, and the next one, et cetera, over the next few years. So I'll be presenting that, or sharing that with you between now and the next month.
Okay, you're gonna send it out? Okay. I'm just, I'm interested in seeing those numbers before we would entertain. Okay.
Oh, yeah, it'd be all part of the
Yeah.
whole discussion of this supplement.
Any other questions?
There was a note here that you had a preliminary engineering report from Schnabel
Yes.
and you were expecting it by the 13th.
Yes. We have received the first draft of the preliminary engineering report for the Bear Branch Dam modification.
We'll get to see that.
You will get to see it once we've had a chance to review it and have the engineer comment, address our comments, and then we will distribute it to y'all.
Thank you.
Same with the TCQ 5-year inspection report.
And you had commented before that, that you have let's just call it a new vision on how to.
Well, we've asked the engineer to look at a different type of spillway,
Okay,
and I have the report, but I have not had a chance to read it. So I don't know what he's offered in his preliminary
all right,
report yet.
okay.
There was a note here that you had a water loss of 688,000 due to an inspection. Was that a scheduled inspection?
It's a water tower, elevated storage tank. As part of the FY26 budget, we're inspecting all of them because as part of the 5-year plan, we have 6 of them that we're going to schedule to be rehab, but prior to rehabbing them, we want them inspected. So this is actually, you're going to see that for the next month and a half, I believe. So 1 a week we're dropping. And so we've dropped 2. We've drained 2 of them so far. The 4 are still coming. We don't actually physically drop them. So,
You know what
Industry term.
yeah. So yeah, all 6 of them will be drained and you're going to see water loss related to that roughly around the same. We let the system take as much as it can, but some of it does have to go on the ground.
It seemed like so much.
It's a way of watering the grass.
Big
Um,
tower.
And then there was also on page 17, there was an asterisk next to the September 25 numbers. And it says the flow meter calibration error.
So we've kept that on there, to show that as it progresses through our 12-month timeline. So we will take that as an anomaly. We did have a calibration error. So we know those numbers were recorded high, but we have to report those high because that's what was recorded, even though we know it was a calibration error. So we've noted it here with an asterisk, so no one thinks that we had it abnormally high.
Okay, so that kind of flows into my next question about the water loss. We have determined that it is with the Woodlands water lines, or is it in your lines in the delivery?
We don't know the answer to that. Right now, we're looking at all of the billing data for the months on both sides of September to see what anomalies we can find, and see if we can find where, if there's something that's pointing us in the direction of where it went or where it is.
Okay.
So we're working on that right now.
I guess in my own mind, is that a consumption or a billing anomaly?
We don't know.
Donna,
Okay.
didn't Brad Hope, have a deadline for that? It's somewhere in the packet. I don't remember exactly.
It's in the, he just asked last week that we, as soon as we can, get it to him.
Okay,
We've been working on it. We've looked through a number of different reports. We got a new report this week that we're looking through, and we actually have the billing software company on it as well, trying to investigate and see if they can find something.
thank you.
Anything else? Okay, thank you. Okay, so we see update regarding the Bear Branch, Panther Branch, Research Forest Drive Drainage Project. Eric?
Yeah, no update on that. The application is still with the U.S. Corps of Engineers. So as soon as we hear back from them, as to whether or not they want to partner on that, we'll know if we have some partner for funding.
Do you think any probability? Possible.
It's, well, I wouldn't put it as a high probability, but it's not a high no either. So I'd say they looked at it preliminarily. We had a meeting with them before we applied, and their indication was something that we would be interested in looking at to go to the next step, to do their full evaluation. And once that is complete, that's when, which is what we're waiting on as to whether they've deemed it to be something they want to partner on.
I think it's a spring, summer, fall.
We're hoping to get it here in the next couple months.
Couple months.
Yeah, they indicated that it would be at least 90 days. Remember the federal government closed for 2 months.
Closed again.
And yeah, so I don't think that's helping our entire time frame on this. So.
Any more questions? Number 12, consider an act on pay application number 5 for the retail wastewater collection system rehabilitation year 2.
Yeah, the next 2 items are related, item 12 and 13 on the agenda. Item 12 is for, and again, both of these are for the sanitary sewer rehabilitation project that's ongoing. It's been ongoing this year. You've had a couple pay estimates thus far. Pay estimate number 5, which is the next one, is here for approval. The overall pay estimate was for $125,951. Of that, Mud 46's share of that is $44,156. So I would need approval of your share of pay estimate number 5. And then the next item, we can take 2 different motions, but the next one is change order number 1 of the same project. That change order includes the extension of time for the completion time of the project by 60 days. And then also a deduct of the project for some work that we stepped in and did because we needed to get the streets repaired quicker than they were responding. So,
Deduct meaning your staff,
but we deducted it from their work.
their work.
Yes. So
Okay.
the overall contract will be deducted by that amount.
And our yearly contribution to this is about 50,000, right? Is
Your overall contribution,
this contract?
your overall share of the contract was approximately $136,000.
Okay.
And of that, you're at, without this particular pay estimate, you were at 28,000 plus this 44. So you're 71, 72,000. So you're about half, just over halfway of your share of the, and the project was, recall, about 1.5 million, just under 1.5.
That's a 2-year project. We're in the second year.
Oh, yes, of the overall, that's correct. Yeah, there'll be a third project that will go deeper into the districts to do more. It was spread over 3 years. This is what we call year 2. That's correct.
Any more? Any questions?
Motion to approve item 12.
Yeah, motion to approve the pay application number 5,
Mhm.
which is a combination of 4 and 5.
4.5, yes.
Get a second
Make a
for
second.
12?
Second.
Okay, and so all in favor of the item 12, say aye.
Aye.
Okay, 13, Did you,
I'll make a motion that we approve item number 13, approving the wastewater collection system rehab year 2, change 1.
Second.
on favor, say aye.
Aye.
Okay, so adoption of amended policy RNS 12 regarding rates and water service to reduce surface water conversion fee and implement infrastructure renewal fee.
Yeah, so RNS 12 is your policy that documents your water and sewer rates. And so this amendment would be to incorporate the 11-cent reduction, the GRP fee from 292 to 281. And then creating a separate line item for infrastructure renewal of that same 11 cents.
A motion to approve the,
I'd like to qualify one thing first. So we haven't had a lot of discussion on this as a board. It's, I don't know if I calculate about 11,000 a month. So this reduction in GRP fee is going to flow into the retail side of the business, right? Not the wholesale side.
For now, yeah.
For now. So there will be additional discussion on how to make use, or we're going to present a plan
Yes.
on how to make use of this funding.
Yeah, the likely, and this is what we'll talk about more next month, but the first tranche of bonds for town center and the engineering for project 2 is somewhere in the range of $30 million or so. And so that would result in about a 47 cent increase. So instead of dropping this 11 to 0 and then going back up to 46 or 7, whenever that happens in the next few months, we felt like it was important to separate it so we can be transparent that the GRP dropped and we're going to utilize these funds for infrastructure renewals eventually.
By mud, as it's detailed on 51. Okay, correct.
Okay, so I get a motion to adopt the amended policy.
Yeah, I'll make a motion that we adopt RNS policy 12.
I second.
All in favor, say aye. Aye. Okay. So the next one is discuss potential amendment to the district order establishing policy for reservation of water and wastewater unit capacity.
That's an item that was requested by Fred last month to be put on the agenda, so it was on the agenda.
Correct. Each of you received a package concerning my views on finding a news source because it was indicated at one of the earlier meetings that imputed interest, fully burdened carrying costs were my personal numbers. Even though they come from a third-party source, it was indicated that it was not appropriate. So I was thinking through a methodology in which we could logically and easily accept that third party is impartial, giving us data points that we can verify. And we had the new head of the Montgomery County Appraisal District here at one of our, I guess, June, July meetings. And I contacted her and asked her if they have the ability to go back and identify what the cost of raw land, even though it was improved, as you know, in our tax bill, you have improvements and you have land, and it's taxed separately at different rates. She said that there have been 3 computer system upgrades over the course of the years from, I believe it's the year 2000. As you all know, Mud 46 was founded in 1981. And our first supplemental agreement was, I believe, in 81. And the second one, which established the early price of SFDUEs, was in 1984. If I'm not mistaken, and I'm not, I have the contracts here. The cost in 1984 for water was $716. Wastewater was $384. We agreed in a policy that we've established that Brian actually put together a complete process for it, that the current water rate that we are charging is $1827.57. If you compare that to the $716 price that was initially charged by the SFDUE, that comes to an increase of 255% over those years. Wastewater, current price is $1,569.48. That's $1,569.48 compared to the $384 cost. That's a 409% increase. And again, these are not my numbers. It comes from the contracts that we have signed and from the sixth and final accounting. So when I talked to her and her staff, and it's detailed here, they indicated that the value of land from when MUD 46 was first founded probably increased 500 or 600%. And I wanted to not go into that kind of detail and be conservative. So I asked her when the last upgrade to the computer system happened, and as luck would have it, it was 2004. So I based all of my analysis here on what was the value in 2004 of all of the land that constitutes the three segments, the three locations of MUD 46. I got that data for every year from 2004 to 2025. And based on those numbers, page 2 of the pricing proposal, I could separate the pages here, indicates that, again, this is a ARB approved total, it's certified. From 2004, the value of all of the land in MUD 46, 3 districts or 3 locations was $366,909,000 and change. In 25, this past year, it was $1,072,766,000, which was an increase of 292% for the land value. That is, again, from numbers that are certified by the and ARB approved. And I compared that to the SFDUE price, and that came out that the freshwater price, based on those two sets of numbers, would be $5,356 for freshwater, and wastewater would be $4,597. And since this was not looking at any type of interest, not looking at any fees for legal or finance or no other carrying fees, I felt this was a fair arm's length distance analysis of what our costs were. And it grew with the value that our developers have on the open lots that exist right now in the Woodlands, or in MUD 46 rather. So if there are any questions on this analysis, my cover sheet or the attachments from the Montgomery County Appraisal District, I also actually included also a rework that Joseph did in doing a revision of the pricing model. And in all cases, we've been very conservative on all of this, and I believe that this should pass. And that's what I'm suggesting with this proposal, that we approve a new number of $5,356 for freshwater and $4,597 for wastewater. Questions, comments?
I suggest we go into closed session to discuss further.
It's a deal. We could do that.
What were those numbers again?
We can either-
We'll move on.
Yeah, we're gonna wait and do that after.
Yeah, so we'll move on to 16, receive an attorney's report.
Just been covering the elections under the attorney's report, so 46 does not have a contested election. So we will be moving forward at the March board meeting with adoption of an order canceling the election and declaring the candidates elected. So, and then those new directors will be seated at the May board meeting. They'll be sworn in at that time. So happy to answer questions if you have them, but it's pretty short and sweet for y'all since you don't have a contested election.
Okay, thanks. Okay, receive one, act on the general manager's report.
Okay, just a few things to go over. I want to let you know that I brought up to the trustees last week, and we'll put it on the agenda for next month, but a proposal to recommendation to have us consider increasing our surface water demand from 50% to 55% or so. Part of that is due to recently in the last 6 months, there's been significant increase in requests from other municipalities in the area requesting additional surface water from the GRP, of which the capacity in that plant is quickly diminishing. In fact, I think there's only about 1 million MGD left. So 55% would be about 750,000. We went to one MGD, that'd be about 56.6%. So we'll be contemplating that at the trustee meeting next month. Wanted to give you an update on the our ditch work. We reported and talked about last year that we would need to hire a new ditch crew or some new employees to be able to focus on some of the minor ditch work that we wanted to do that is in your budget and the other budgets. We hired an individual back last fall and have been kind of slow to get resumes and interest. We actually attended the Lake Conroe career fair last week or 2 weeks ago. Got some great candidates, and I'm happy to report that we have 3 new acceptances of offers. So they'll be starting in the next few weeks. We got to get them trained up and geared up and everything, and then we'll get rolling on that minor ditch work that we talked about throughout the months. So really good news there. I wanted to give you an update on the FFDUE evaluation that we've been doing on water reclamation facility number 1. Kim and I finished the build of the GIS database a couple weeks ago. We've met with Howard Hughes for them to go over their, it's been 9 years since they kind of did the crystal ball of what might go on certain tracks. In some cases, that's still an estimate, but I wanted to know what the updated estimate was since 9 years have passed. So they gave us that this week, and we're going through it right now to just make sure we update the database accordingly. Once we have that, the way we feel comfortable with, then we'll sit down with SGRA, share that information with them and bring it to the trustees and MUDs next month. And then that will likely initiate, the work by the consultant on the treatment plant. Because that was one of the questions of what capacity are we really going for, and to verify those capacities or those allocations.
Question, that will now update the 6th and final?
No, that will, well, I guess in a sense, but not to evaluate any costing.
No, not costing.
More to confirm, 6th and final was essentially a line in the sand of what the estimate would have been in 2027, which is obviously coming up.
Right, so it included a total amount of water, if I'm not mistaken, right?
Right, you're right, water, sewer, and the SIDUEs needed to meet that projection that was forecasted in 2017. So we've updated that information for all the tracks.
That's what I'm referring to.
Yes.
Okay, good.
Yes. So that will be, that's getting close. We have reengaged our rate study consultant that did a retail rate study back in 2023. That's to look at the retail rate side of your water and sewer rates, which usually is utilized to pay for the infrastructure improvements and or repair, maintenance, our costs, et cetera, to operate and maintain your facilities within each MUD 46. So we'll be looking at that.
Were you here then, when they did that study in 2020?
Yes.
You were here, okay, good. So
I
yeah,
initiated it.
okay.
Yes. And so we'll look at that. We're hoping to get information back from them, recommendations by early summer, which will be in line with when we're starting to do the budget. And so if there is any contemplated changes to rates, we'll be able to incorporate that into the budget. And likely if there were any increased rates related to the retail side, they wouldn't go into effect till January 27. Usually like to not implement those in the summer if there's any rate changes. So, but that more to come on that. Did want to point out to you a couple letters that we received that they're in your packet from residents that took it upon themselves to not only share with us their pleasure in how we serve them, but went as far as to write a letter, put a stamp on it, put it in the mail and send it to us. And that not everybody was willing to go to that level. So I always appreciate when anyone's going to, give us that feedback. So That's all I had. I do have comment on the next item, if you want to roll into that as well, the global amendment.
Yeah.
So last month we talked about the global amendment and I had asked for comments to come back this week so I could collate those and get them to Esther. In the meantime, I reached out to Aubrey and asked if he'd be willing to talk to us a little bit about how we got here and what is the global amendment really trying to, accomplish. And he's agreed to meet with us. And so as today has evolved, we behind the scenes, I've been talking with him about trying to get some dates scheduled. So earlier today, we were talking Wednesday, Friday, Monday, and I think we've gotten to Monday at this point, Monday the 2nd, somewhere in the afternoon. So Shelley will be sending out a scheduler, and I'd like for no more than 2 directors. If there's 2 specific directors that want to get involved or hear more about that, we can obviously report back to everybody, but that way I can get it scheduled and I can send invites out to whomever wants to.
So, 2 directors, 5 trustees then? Is that, you're trying to avoid an open meeting?
Yes.
Why is that? Why don't we just have an all-mud meeting of 50 of us at
We might be able to do
Ed's
that
house?
in the future. Yeah, we might be able to do that in the future, but that was the that was the request.
There's an objection there.
No objection.
I think you woke them up.
Yeah, yeah.
No, I've been listening. I just,
So you don't think he's willing to stage this?
I can't speak for him. That was the request.
I don't think it'd be a good bit of interest.
Sure. Yeah, and it'll be equal across all 10 months.
Yeah.
So there's any 2 that can make it following Monday, the 2nd.
Monday afternoon.
It'll be afternoon, yeah. Likely we'll probably send out a note for maybe 1:30, 2:30 or 3:30 option.
Okay, I'm interested.
That way we can at least, get some options on the table because I don't have a lot of day options, but I have some time options within that day. If earlier or later in the day works better for folks. So what we'll try to do is accommodate whichever option gets the most votes is the one we'll pick. It might not work for everybody, but it's hard to get that many people, lined up. So.
And will this be recorded?
I'm not planning to, no.
Not planning to. And most likely location will be at,
Here,
here,
Mhm.
upstairs.
probably, yeah.
Okay. Any comment?
Can I make a request that we have further discussion in closed session?
Why would you recommend recording it to share with our constituents?
We can talk further about that.
Okay, we'll do that.
Okay, let's see. Consider an act on the district's annual update to residents.
Afternoon.
Hello?
Before we get into the annual update, I just want to highlight a couple things on your communications report on page 65. Want to note that we have a community survey that's going to be distributed here pretty soon. We'll let that run for a few weeks to assess favorability ratings and knowledge levels among the general public. And I'll bring those findings to you probably in your April meeting. I did give you a number of performance metrics on our various outlets. If you have any questions about those, please let me know. And then just wanted to note the outreach calendar, page 69, our in-person events coming up. All right, and then on the update, so hopefully everyone had a chance to review these remotely. I just wanted to give you one more opportunity to comment, make any edits before we go to print and mail out with the February bill here next week or 10 days.
I have, again, I've been looking at the data, it says since 2020. So the data I looked at, we didn't change rates between 20 and 21, so it was really probably since 2021.
Sorry, where, which bullet is that?
It's the third bullet, first raindrop. It says since 2020.
I think he's referring to the annual update.
Annual, what are you talking about? I thought we were talking about annual update.
Yeah, it's an annual update.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I just don't think it's in the big packet. It might not be.
No, it's right here.
Separate.
It's separate,
Yeah, yeah.
yeah.
Gave you a copy.
Yes, yes, oh, yeah, I was just saying for his benefit.
I'm sorry, I'm still,
There's a separate copy.
Yeah,
I don't have it.
No.
Oh, okay, great.
So what I'm.
I was on the
That's-
third,
that's-
okay, got
First
you,
raindrop.
2020,
gotcha.
if you look back at the tax rates, and you probably have better access than I do, but I think it's really since 2021.
Since
2020 to 21 was the identical tax rate. And so we all came about around 2022. So, you can, that 16.7 is a good number.
Okay.
It's a good number. I would think 2021.
We think that's 21?
You guys can verify that.
Yeah, I'll work with Jeannie to
I'll
make
look
sure
at
that
Grok.
that is.
Fine. I tried a whole bunch of places and I finally typed it in Grok and it popped up.
For the increased user base.
Yeah, that's right.
Okay.
And then the second thing I had was the maximize infrastructure value through prudent financial oversight. And this, the middle bullet says help reduce estimated expenditures from 500 million to 380. First phase infrastructure 183 is likely to find bond financing. I guess my comment would be we really haven't voted any of these issues yet. And so we're waiting for the 10-year plan from SRA. We have not revisited the wastewater treatment plant 1. So all these numbers are kind of hanging still, but we don't understand what the tie out is yet. So I'd be a little uncomfortable.
But these bullet points say estimated and approximately, so it gives a general size information for our residents. It's not finite, it's not specific.
I know, but we're saying it's reduced from 500 million to 380. I don't know of any data that indicates that I've seen since I've, and nothing's been approved. And then the 183, we'll find out from Ed what the 10-year plan has in it, and that would be the basis of that estimate. And I don't know if 183 is accurate at all, to be honest with you. And I'm just going by,
It's the numbers that we've been kicking around though.
I've not seen that number being kicked around.
Okay,
I've been in a lot of meetings and I want to do it. I just wanted to be accurate, and I don't think those two numbers are accurate yet. I think we'll know better, later, but we don't know now.
Do we want to scrub figures or try to
I'd rather
get better
scrub the-
figures?
Bullet 2,
Scrub the entire bullet.
yeah, that's what I would do because we don't have any firm data. And I think we should make sure we don't mistake,
I'm okay with
Just
it.
don't want to do that for sure.
What about, just as an observation, what about help reduce expenditures by implementing condition-based analysis?
I'm good with that.
throughout the system stuff.
Sure.
I'm good with that.
sure, that's good.
That's fair.
That's fair.
Yeah, no numbers are mentioned.
That's fair. The part that I still have a sticking point is it's likely, the word likely to require bond financing. We have not been presented with bond console or any of the details on that. So I'm not prepared to say it's likely.
Where's that at?
It's the same bullet, second bullet. It's just
I
after the
would, I would
183.
delete the second bullet. That's what we're talking about doing. is delete.
Yes, but then there was a suggestion, a word edit suggestion to actually keep the bullet, some
No,
language.
I'm gonna remove all the rest and just say what I just said.
Exactly.
Oh, got it. And what did you say?
Yeah, that's good.
Is that really what 1 is, right? Activity-based, weed 1. The board advocates maximizing the value of existing da-da-da.
True.
It's repeat of that. That's what I thought you were referring to, be honest with you, said it.
Maybe then after that sentence, then to help reduce estimated expenditures.
Yeah, I think that.
Yeah.
Combining the two and taking the.
Good idea.
back out.
Yep.
Can someone summarize what's the net? I'm lost. What's the net result from here to the proposed language? What is it?
You want to read it, Eric? The board advocates for max.
Previous dot on that, it talks about the condition-based assessments and physical testing before replacing, 45, blah, blah, blah. To help reduce estimated overall expenditures. And then just wipe out the rest of that second one, or wipe out all the second one altogether.
The one that begins helped reduce estimated expenditures, that bullet.
Kind of taking that.
Okay.
bold and
Yep.
putting it up with other numbers.
Yeah.
Yes, I'm good with that. So motion to make that change. Do we need a motion or is it fine?
Are there any other revisions? We do have a typo on the back.
Yeah, I thought that.
Emperor.
David insisted I put president twice.
What's that?
On the back, I have president listed twice.
Oh, I see, yeah. Yeah.
Anything else?
Okay, so, we don't need a vote on that, I assume.
We do a motion
We do.
to approve the annual update as revised.
Motion to approve,
I'll second that.
all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Hey,
So again, this will mail out with the upcoming bill. We will also push this out via email. It will live online on your MUD page and we'll point to it through social media as well.
thank you.
Thank you, John.
Okay, so we see the Woodlands Water Trustee reports. We've kind of covered a lot of that already.
Yeah, there's a pretty in detail summary of the trustee report in your packet.
Okay, so before we recess, anything for next month? Well, we do that when we come out. Yeah. So I'm gonna have a motion to close the meeting to private session.
Second.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Closed.